is ABC 13 Eyewitness News at 9 p.m. on CW 39.
And happening right now on the news at 9 o'clock tonight, hundreds of healthcare workers have lined up to get vaccinated here in the recent days, and we now know who is next in line, how the state is planning to make sure the second tier gets their shot. Plus, scaling back again, some Southeast Texas counties now cracking down on COVID-19 restrictions. Several areas now forced to close bars and reduce restaurant capacity back to 50%. And we're also speaking to the Houston employee who found the body of Instagram sensation Alexis Sharkey as family and friends gather to remember her. But first, we begin here tonight with breaking news. President Donald Trump now saying he will not sign the new stimulus bill unless Americans get a $2,000 payout. He's calling on Congress to increase the stimulus checks from $600 in the current bill to $2,000 per person and $4,000 per couple. The stimulus is tied to a federal spending bill that would keep the federal government from shutting down. Of course, we'll keep you posted on what happens. And more breaking news tonight from the White House. President Donald Trump issuing a slew of pardons within the last couple of hours tonight. Among them, former Texas Congressman Steve Stockman. He was convicted back in 2018 of misuse of charitable funds and sentenced to 10 years in prison. President Trump commuted the rest of his sentence. He will now be under supervision released and must pay $1 million in restitution. The White House says the 64-year-old has underlying health conditions and has already gotten COVID-19 while they're in prison. In all, President Trump has pardoned 15 people and granted clemency to 5. Well, healthcare workers were first to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Now we're learning more about the next group of people that will get their dose. The state announcing yesterday that the next round goes to those 65 and older and people 16 and older with chronic medical conditions. ABC 13's Marla Carter has a look for us tonight at how Houston plans to do it.
As doses of the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine ship out, healthcare workers are first in line to get it. So far, more than 32,000 Texas Medical Center frontline workers have been vaccinated. Soon, the next group of people will get the vaccine, Group 1B. Medical leaders discussed how that would look at a Zoom news conference.
We're going to have a network outside of hospitals to get people vaccinated. And we know that some of the commercial pharmacies are working with the federal government already, targeting the nursing homes, another vulnerable population.
It's going to be a huge undertaking. Group 1B includes people over the age of 65 and those 16 and older with chronic medical conditions such as cancer, heart conditions, and obesity. That equates to 8 million people in Texas, though some of them are eligible to be vaccinated in Group 1A. So how will they reach all those people?
In a perfect world, everyone who is on that list would have a primary care physician who would be able to reach out to them and coordinate with them to getting vaccinated. We still hope that that will happen to a large degree. But we also know that there are people who will meet those qualifications who don't necessarily have a primary care physician.
And if someone doesn't have a primary care physician, will they need to prove they have a medical condition?
And so we still need to figure out how we're going to get them advertise, communicate, educate them on why they should become vaccinated, where they can get vaccinated, and then is there going to be a check and a balance to make sure you really have the disease you claim? I don't know how we would be able to do that. So there's lots of conversations now.
Remember, Moderna and Pfizer requires 2 doses taken weeks apart, so doctors are preparing for that too.
Well, certainly we have to have our administration sites well prepared. We have to have a very precise schedule for delivery. And then we need to have an effective communications approach to remind people, not only our own employees, but particularly our patients, those who will administer the vaccine to in phase 1B.
As far as when you could get it, it all depends on supply and when hospitals and providers get more vaccine. But once Group 1A is complete, medical providers are not expected to waste any time moving to the next group.
That ebb and flow that we will roll from one to the other, and we don't want vaccines sitting in freezers. We want them in people's arms.
The general public could see their first dose in April. Marla Carter, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Marla, thanks. Meanwhile, Governor Greg Abbott received the COVID-19 vaccine in Austin today, saying he wanted to show Texans exactly how safe and easy it is.
That I will never ask any Texan to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So I'm going to step up, I'm going to take the vaccine, and show you everything is going to be just fine.
Now, Governor Abbott said by the end of this month, there will be more than 1 million vaccines shipped out all across the state of Texas. And a big announcement for parts of Southeast Texas today. Some counties will now have to once again scale back on their COVID-19 restrictions. They will be now forced to close bars, lower restaurant capacity, among other things. Pooja Lodhia has more on how business owners are reacting tonight.
3 days until Christmas, and Galveston is busy with tourists and residents enjoying the holiday season. But state health officials say COVID-19 cases are rising.
It's not so much about the rules, but people following the rules.
As of 8 o'clock this morning, all bars here are required to close. All restaurants are required to reduce capacity to 15% at the most. And hospitals must cancel elective surgeries too.
I oppose it, but there's really nothing that I can do about it.
It's not a local order, it's a state order. You see, the Department of State Health Services divides the state into what are called trauma service areas. Galveston County stretches all the way to Beaumont and includes Brazoria, Chambers, and Liberty counties. For the past 7 days, COVID-19 patients in this region as a whole have hit 15% of all hospitalizations, which according to state law triggers the restrictions. It's happened in dozens of counties, including Dallas.
The governor still has his own police force with the TABC, but as far as local law enforcement resources, we're very busy with organized crime, with the unfortunate shooting that occurred here recently. His people are tied up with actual things like that need to be dealt with and not counting people in a restaurant.
Galveston's county judge didn't provide proof, but claims the state hospitalization data is incorrect and has asked for an exemption. Meanwhile, local business owners say they're in trouble.
That every business should have the right every morning to go to their business and turn that sign that says open for business. If you don't want to go to a business, you can stay home. You don't have to go there.
People have got to keep their jobs. They got to keep businesses open.
In Galveston, Pooja Lodhia, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Thanks. We are first at 9 o'clock to give you your 3-day forecast. Cooler temperatures and some rain on the way right now. Here's Chief Forecaster David Tillman. Hey, David.
Hi there, Chauncy. Things are quiet out there right now, but this is the storm system that's moving in our direction that will give us a chance for thunderstorms tomorrow. Even though the center of it's going to track well to our north, it'll drag a cold front through here that will spark some showers and storms. Rains increase to 30% at noon, 60% in the afternoon. We do expect to be very warm tomorrow in the mid-70s. Then that front is going to go through tomorrow evening. Temperatures will fall. We'll only make it to 52 on Thursday, 60 on Christmas Day. We'll talk about some really cold low temperatures coming up later in your forecast.
All right, David, thank you. Well, now to a very tragic story out of North Houston tonight. Police say an 18-year-old man was showing his 19-year-old sister a new gun when it suddenly went off. Now, that bullet hit the woman in the neck, killing her. Police are now interviewing eyewitnesses, but say at this point, this is all just a tragic accident. Well, the mother of the man shot and killed by a Lamar police officer is now reacting to the recently released body cam footage of his death. A Zoom press conference held by attorney Benjamin Crump came 1 day after the footage depicting Joshua Feast went public. According to Crump, the footage here contradicts what investigators initially stated about the shooting. His mother says this is the hardest thing she's ever gone through.
And it hurt me to see that Officer Santos let my son bleed out on the ground after he begged for help. He kept asking for help. And then after he took his last breath, he was...
Now, Feast was outside of his uncle's home back on December 9th. Lamarck officer Jose Santos pulled up to Feast, yelling his name. Feast then took off running. His uncle said the officer shot him in the back. So far, no disciplinary action has been taken against Officer Santos. Now to the very latest on the very mysterious death of Instagram personality Alexis Sharkey. Homicide detectives still calling it an active and ongoing investigation. Tonight, we spoke with the Houston worker who found Sharkey's body. John Richardson described finding her as bizarre and said there were no clothes and no visible wounds on her body. He claims she looked as if someone just delicately placed her body there along the road.
We just stunned and I'm looking, but there wasn't no visible wounds. It was like she just got out the tub. Her body was clean. It wasn't, nothing on her body. Her body was clean.
Now, Alexis's family held a private viewing for her this week as they continue to wait for an update and answers here in the case. Well, disheartening news tonight for the family of missing 21-year-old Texas State student from Missouri City. Texas EquiSearch now suspending its efforts to find Jason Landry until law enforcement gives them credible leads, they say. Last night, his family held a prayer vigil asking for a Christmas miracle. Jason was driving home last week when he crashed in a rural area about 50 miles outside of Austin. His keys, wallet, and cell phones were all left there in his car. Authorities now believe he was able to get out of his car and walk away, but his family has no idea where he is now. Now to sports, the Texans are looking ahead to the next season, working on filling the coaching and also the general manager positions. Here's Greg Bailey with more on that.
Well, this gets interesting in a hurry, doesn't it? They're also working on an internal candidate. They get a shot with the Texans as well. The team has talked with Matt Bazergan about the vacant general manager's job. Bazergan joining the Texans back in 2018 as the Texans director of player personnel. More on that Texans interview with former Lions and Colts coach Jim Caldwell. We reported it last night. The timing of the interview, talking with Caldwell before the Texans hire their new general manager, that has raised some eyebrows, but it does not diminish Caldwell's standing inside the NFL. Widely, if not universally respected for his character and his leadership, particularly with quarterbacks. You got to credit the Texans for doing thorough work. We'll say it again, and leave no stone unturned as they look for new leadership.
Rightfully so, Greg. Thank you. Well, coming up next to that, here on the news at 9 o'clock, we see how our neighbors are trying to give back to those in need this holiday season. And we're also taking a look at some of the risk levels for things people normally do around the holidays you might want to avoid, though, this year during the pandemic. Stay with us.
Giving to make the holiday season brighter.
Thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it.
Feeding thousands, bringing joy to your neighbors.
We stay Houston strong.
From all of us at CW 39 Houston and the Citywide Club, thank you.
Welcome back here to the news at 9 o'clock. It's Christmas week, and what better way to spread some holiday cheer by giving back. Now today, Congressman Al Green and the Houston Food Bank help provide food to the seniors there in the Sunnyside area. Here's our Mayra Moreno tonight with the other events all around town in our News in 60 Seconds.
Today, thousands of families received free toys for their children at Harris County Precinct 1's toy giveaway at NRG Center. The line was backed up to the loop. Precinct 1 raised more than $23,000 to make this happen.
There was also a toy giveaway for 5,000 pre-registered children at the Community of Faith Church. We got to see the goods this morning. They're doing this tomorrow and Thursday night as well. Also today, Mayor Sylvester Turner distributing bicycles to children in the Acres Home area.
The generosity of the people in the city of Houston is just amazing. It's incredible, and we're a blessed city, and so I just want to thank everyone for their generosity.
You want a basketball too? And Rocket star PJ Tucker helped sponsor 20 children from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Houston on a sneaker shopping spree at Academy.
It means a lot considering, COVID and, the pandemic. It really means a lot, and it was really helpful. We really appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, that is so great there. Meanwhile, as you finalize your holiday plans, we're showing you tonight some of the risk factors to consider for holiday activities. The Texas Medical Association says some are considered much safer than others. Here's the list. Low-risk activities include the stuff you can do just right there from your home, like shopping online, watching holiday movies at home, along with viewing holiday lights inside your car. Low to moderate activities include outdoor scavenger hunts or ice skating at an outdoor rink. Here's what is considered moderate risk: attending a holiday parade or visiting someone in an assisted living facility. The more moderate high-risk events include taking photos with Santa, attending indoor sports events, shopping in person, and caroling with a group. The high-risk activities right here, all about the social gatherings. These include attending house parties, of course, or celebrating New Year's Eve at the nightclub or bar. Certainly got to stay away from the clubs and bars this holiday season. But when we're talking about Christmas, a few days away, what kind of weather are you giving us, David?
You know what? Some people are going to get leather jackets for Christmas, Chauncey.
We're going to need them?
Yeah, and I think we'll have cold enough weather to sport those.
Some are even getting fur. Boots with the fur.
Some people might just get that. That's right. And it'll be cold enough for it, especially Christmas morning when temperatures will be close to freezing around here in southeast Texas. All because of this area of low pressure in the upper atmosphere that will be passing by to the north. Once it passes on by, we're going to develop a strong northerly wind that'll bring in some really cold air from Canada. That same northerly wind is going to push a cold front through here that will allow temperatures to plummet starting tomorrow night. Thursday's going to be pretty chilly, and when you wake up on Christmas morning, we're going to have widespread temperatures in the 30s and 40s around the state, 20s not too far away, northern Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, and then single digits in teens is where we're going to see across parts of the Midwest. Outside right now, 61 degrees, clouds increasing across the area. We've got a southeast wind at 10, dew point at 53. With those high dew points, the increasing moisture in clouds means temperatures are not going to fall all that much overnight. It's 63 in Galveston with a southeast wind at 10 as well. Low temperatures for tonight stay in the 50s over most of the area, close to 60 degrees at the coast, and high temperatures tomorrow before the front comes in. Again, the front won't make it in until sometime after 4 or 5 o'clock. We'll make it into the middle 70s out there. So we've got a warm, breezy, and somewhat muggy day coming up for your Wednesday. Here's a look at future track. It shows us clouds increasing overnight. It also shows a couple of isolated showers developing for the morning hours. That same thing will continue for the rest of the morning, but as we get into the afternoon, we'll begin to see thunderstorms fire across the area. A couple of those could be on the strong side. Then we'll see the cold front move through late in the day, and it'll be windy and much colder coming in behind that front. Because we've got some dry air aloft and a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere, a couple of the storms could produce some damaging straight line wind. That's more likely to happen along and east of Interstate 45. That's something we'll be watching for. And look at non-thunderstorm winds after the front passes between 30 and 40 miles per hour, possibly close to 50 near the coast. We'll have wind chills in the upper 20s there first thing on Thursday morning. And then as we go through the day on Thursday, Christmas Eve, it is going to continue to be very, very windy across the area. Once those winds do die down, we're going to see those temperatures begin to plummet as we get into Christmas Day. So 60% tomorrow, 74 for a high, only 52 for a high on Christmas Eve, a low of 38, 33 to 60 on Christmas Day, and then we'll have a bit of a warming trend over the weekend that'll be followed by another storm system next week.
All right, David, thank you. Well, the James Harden saga continues tonight, and we're not any closer to knowing if he'll stay in Houston. That's what everyone wants to know. What we do know now is Harden will likely suit up for this Rocket season opener tomorrow. Greg's back here as the drama continues.
I like how you say likely suit up tomorrow because we're getting close. I love it, Chauncy. Here we go with James Harden. Will this be every day, day after day, as the team tries to deal with their unhappy superstar? The Athletic now reporting that Harden has had verbal confrontation with teammates at practice. In fact, he threw a basketball, says The Athletic, at new teammate Jayshawn Tate. For context here, emotions can certainly run high inside NBA workouts. But most important in all of this, if you are the Rockets, it has to take more than that kind of behavior to get you to cave in and trade Harden for anything less than full value. By the way, the guy we see here, I've said it so many times, Stephen Silas has done a great job handling all of this. He is a pro's pro, and it looks like to me a great leader.
Yeah, he certainly inherited a lot as soon as he got here.
You sure did. Welcome to your first NBA coaching job.
All right, Greg, thank you. All right, holiday shopping isn't over for some people, a lot of people, all you last-minute folks out there. Last-minute shoppers, every minute counts, right? We're letting you know when the stores are closing on Christmas Eve so you can plan accordingly. Stay with us. You're watching the news at 9 o'clock here tonight.
This portion of Eyewitness News is sponsored by American Furniture Warehouse.
For anyone who still has to do that last-minute holiday shopping out there, expect some of your go-to stores to have different hours this year. Now, most retailers will close by 6 p.m. with some exceptions. Target locations will open at 7 a.m. and shut down at 8 on Christmas Eve, 2 hours earlier than back in 2019. Walmart, Kohl's, Macy's all close their doors at 6 p.m. on the 24th. Hours may vary, though, at Costco stores, and senior hours may apply, but many locations are open 9 to 5 on Christmas Christmas Eve. And if you still need that perfect gift, especially any electronics, well, here's a way to save some money. Buying refurbished electronics can get you the same thing you want with a warranty while saving some major bucks. Now, on one site called thestore.com, we found some Apple AirPods Generation 2 with the charging case selling for $119. A new pair from the Apple Store cost you about $200 over at batmarket.com. A Fitbit Charge 3 can be had for $95, while a new version, the Fitbit Charge 4, is $140. If you're still unsure right now about buying refurbished, well, many of the items come with a complete guarantee.
The warranties for refurbished products have gotten so strong, and in fact, they're typically longer than the original warranty that the manufacturers will give.
Well, buying refurbished electronics saves money and also the environment at the same time by limiting e-waste. We have a link to both of refurbished sellers we mentioned here in this story on our website at abc13.com. There's more news straight ahead. Odds stacked against them. A knock at the door changed everything for one local family. How they're now getting some much-needed help during such difficult time. David?
Well, we've got a cold front coming in tomorrow, but most of the day is still going to be rather warm. 74 degrees in the middle part of the afternoon, 72 by 4. Then that front rolls through, dropping us to 64 just after 6 p.m. We'll be down to 51 degrees by midnight tomorrow night. I'll have another look at your holiday forecast coming up.
When you gift this holiday season, keep it local. It's a way to support your neighbors during the COVID-19 pandemic. Buying local can ensure a thriving community. CW39 celebrates Buy Local Month, November 28th through December 24th.
This is ABC 13 Eyewitness News at 9 p.m. on CW39.
The family of the man shot and killed by a Lamar police officer is reacting tonight to the recently released body cam footage of his death. A Zoom news conference held by attorney Benjamin Crump came one day after the footage depicting Joshua Feast went public. Crump now saying the footage contradicts what investigators initially stated about the shooting. So far, no disciplinary action has been taken against the Lamar officer involved. Meanwhile, in North Houston, police tell us an 18-year-old accidentally shot and killed his 19-year-old sister. It happened here off of Wellington Street. Officers believe the 18-year-old was showing off his gun to his sister when it suddenly went off, hitting her in the neck, killing her. Right now, police are calling this a tragic accident. And good news here tonight, no injuries after this partial house collapse north of downtown. Look at this video here. This is happening off of White Oak Bayou. Investigators tell us no one was in the house at the time. It fell off its cinder blocks earlier this afternoon. And homicide detectives tell us the investigation into the death of Instagram personality Alexis Sharkey is still active and ongoing. Today, ABC 13 spoke with a man who found Sharkey's body, telling us she looked as if someone just delicately placed her there alongside the road. Alexis's family held a private viewing for her earlier this week in Pennsylvania. And while we're still waiting on President Donald Trump to sign the COVID-19 relief bill, we now know it will try to end those surprise medical bills. The bill protects patients from surprise bills that result from emergency medical care. Now, this would apply if a patient is seen at an out-of-network facility. This also covers patients if they're treated by an out-of-network clinician at an in-network hospital. In either case, patients could only be billed based on their plan's in-network rate. The bill also prevents air ambulance services from sending patients surprise bills for more than in-cost network bills. Their air ambulance charges are now becoming a bigger problem in states where patients have to travel long distances to get to the best hospitals. Ground ambulance services will not face those same restrictions, though. And the relief bill also has some much-needed relief funds for live music venues. The $15 billion Save Our Stages Act was folded into the larger COVID-19 relief bill. The bill provides grants equal to 45% of a venue's gross revenue from 2019, with a cap of $10 million per entity. Now, venues can use grants to pay things like rent, utilities, mortgage, also obligations, PPE, procurement, and taxes. Music venues that get a grant will be required, though, to return any remaining funding after 1 year from the date of disbursement. Well, Christmas came early for one local family. You might remember this story back in November. I introduced you to Angelina Flores and her 3 boys who, at the time, were all using one laptop for virtual learning. And on top of that, mom was caught in the crossfire in a gang shootout while out one night getting food for the boys. Well, she was struck in the arm and has since been recovering. Well, Angelina sent me this picture here a few days ago saying how excited the boys were when they got an unexpected knock at the door. It was representatives from DePelchin Children's Center delivering some much-needed laptops for the family.
Yes, it was a total surprise getting the laptop. We did not expect them so soon. So when Priscilla came in from DePelchin, she called and she's like, "Are y'all home?" And I said, "Yeah, we're home." And she goes, "Well, I have a surprise for y'all outside." And well, the boys were just in shock when they saw her give them the laptop. They were just like, they were excited and they said, "Thank you so much." You know, they hugged her and, you know, we were just really grateful.
Right on time. This is all a part of a laptop drive. ABC 13 partnered with DePelchin and in all helped 80 families with laptops this holiday season. Mom told me she's so thankful, especially now as COVID numbers begin to spike. She did not want to send the kids back to school just yet, but had decided to because of the challenge of virtual learning with one laptop for all 3 boys. Well, new details tonight about a major development between the Houston Spaceport and Axiom Space, the aerospace company, now making plans to make its headquarters there at the spaceport that's still being built at Ellington Airport. Now, once it is finished, it will serve as a launch and landing site for spaceflight vehicles. ABC 13's T.J. Parker has more on this new partnership and what it means for the Houston economy.
Houston Spaceport and Axiom Space are moving forward to build the world's first commercial space station.
It will be the world's first free-flying, internationally available private space station that will serve as humanity's central hub for research, manufacturing, and commerce in low Earth orbit.
Houston Spaceport is the country's 10th commercially licensed spaceport at Ellington Airport. Axiom Space will build their 14-acre headquarter campus there, bringing in more than 1,000 high-paying jobs.
And as this project moves forward and this announcement is made, people who live and work, including small business owners, are looking forward to this project moving forward.
There's obviously, for our benefit, that domino effect for our restaurants and other local businesses.
Jonathan Cottrell grew up in the area. He owns Cottrell Realty and says this announcement is big.
I expect a boom in new construction and housing in the area.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for the community.
David Chimenti owns Instant Imprints on Space Center Boulevard and believes a lot of businesses will benefit.
It's exciting to be a part of it, to be in a community that supports that and has, you know, opportunity to create jobs for more families.
An exciting future for the Space City. At Ellington Airport, I'm T.J. Parker, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
All right, T.J., how cool is that? Turning now to weather with David, and just in time for Christmas, we have a cold front coming through.
And you know what? I've been here 20 years. I don't recall a Christmas morning as cold as what we've got coming this morning. So this is somewhat of a rare thing that we have. Cold front coming in tomorrow is going to be the first step. That will come with some showers and thunderstorms as well. We'll begin to see them intensify as we get into the afternoon hours there. Could be some damaging wind with a couple of those storms. Then that front's going to go through, I'm thinking in the city of Houston sometime between 4 and 6 p.m. After it passes, we're going to see those temperatures fall. After a high of 74 coming up tomorrow, only 52 for a high on Thursday, back to 60 on Christmas afternoon, but Christmas morning is going to be close to freezing here in town, Chauncy.
Oh, but I like it, though. That's the one time I do like it freezing on Christmas. Thanks, David. Well, U of H football is bowl-bound, but the team will not be without a large part, a large part of the roster. Greg Bailey now here with how they're preparing for the bowl. Hey,
that was kind of a tongue-tire right there, wasn't it? You forged through well, man. We've all been there, I promise. 2 days ahead of the Cougars bowl game, Dana Holgerson telling ESPN Radio here in Houston, U of H will be missing 15 to 20 players for the matchup against Hawaii. You got COVID, opt-outs, great issues in this era of virtual classes. They're all in play here. In reality, playing shorthanded, just par for the course in 2020, Cougars will make the most of a chance to play together one more time.
We're attacking it. It's just another game on the schedule, and we're, obviously we're thankful to be playing after we had as many games as we did get canceled, so we're just happy to play. And we want to send the seniors and the guys who aren't going to be returning, we want to send them out the right way and come out with a W.
That win can do so much for the way you enter next season. Let's hope that it's normal and U of H as a program can get that traction moving forward.
All right, Greg, thank you. Well, coming up next here on the news at 9, the message from the rocket star who treated these families to a special Christmas shopping spree. We'll be right back. All right, you're going to love this. 'Tis the season for giving. Houston Rocket star P.J. Tucker teamed up with Academy Sports and Outdoors to help several families in need here locally. 20 kids were selected for a big shopping spree there at Academy. Tucker couldn't be there because of COVID protocols, but made sure to send a special video message to the children and their families.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's P.J. Tucker. I want to give a special thanks to the Boys and Girls Club, the place where I grew up. I had a ton of my childhood memories. I just wanted to make sure you guys are all taken care of. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
How great is this? PJ is also donating a $5,000 gift card to the Boys and Girls Club to make sure as many kids as possible get a gift this Christmas. Meanwhile, the West Houston Post Office will now be officially renamed in honor of Harris County Sheriff's Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal, who was killed last year during a traffic stop. The Sikh Coalition says President Trump signed a package of bills to name several post offices all across the nation. This includes renaming the post office there along Addicks Howell Road near the Katy Freeway in honor of Deputy Dhaliwal. The renaming ceremony will be held sometime next year. Well, the restaurant service industry has taken a big hit, we know, during the pandemic, and for some, their hard work still goes unnoticed. But one server there in North Carolina unexpectedly received a $1,000 tip from a complete stranger.
Still in shock. I couldn't believe it when I saw the $1,000 tip. I've never gotten anything like that before. Couldn't have come at a better time. It's Christmas time. I can share some of this love with my family now.
Oh, how nice is this? Like many other servers, he said he has felt the impacts of the pandemic and is thankful for the generosity of that man and his family. All right, now we're thanking David Tillman for the generosity of some cold temperatures just in time for Christmas.
He wanted to be that way. The same system that's going to come in here tomorrow, give us some colder weather and some rain, is going to be near the East Coast as we get into travel Thursday. That is the Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas. So most of us staying home, but for those of us that will be traveling, you'll have to deal with some rain and even some snow on the backside of the system in parts of Ohio and Indiana. Behind that is going to be a very strong north wind that will blow all the way from the Canadian border down into parts of Texas. It'll be very windy here in Texas as well coming up on Thursday. Our high 52 degrees, 50 in New Orleans with windy conditions, 27 for a high in St. Louis. You go farther to the west on your Thursday, 54 degrees in Las Vegas, not too bad. Sunny and 36 degrees in Salt Lake City. Here's our forecasting detail. We're expecting mostly sunny skies, 52 for a high. That's after early morning lows in the upper 30s. And again, it's going to be windy out there for your Christmas Eve, for your last minute Christmas shopping. And then on Christmas Day, up to 60 degrees near freezing in the morning, but it'll be mostly sunny during the afternoon coming up. Outside right now, we're at 61 in Houston, 59 in Lake Conroe, or in Conroe. And you can see over the lake, those clouds are really increasing. So the combination of more moisture, more clouds means temperatures don't fall very much overnight. We're expecting widespread lows in the 50s. High temperatures for tomorrow will be warm in the low to middle 70s. That is before the front rolls through. Here is Future Track. Overnight tonight, again, clouds will continue to increase. We might have enough moisture around for an isolated shower or two first thing in the morning into the midday hours, and then showers and thunder showers will really increase from Houston to the east and south as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. That'll be the front coming in. That front passing between 4 and 6 here in Houston. By the time we get to 10, it'll be down towards the coast, and it'll be windy and much colder around here. How windy do we expect it to be? Well, 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, winds will be gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour, maybe even as high as 50 near the coast. A very windy evening coming up behind that front. It'll be breezy enough for wind chills in the upper 20s when you wake up first thing on Christmas Eve. So it is going to be very chilly then. 74 tomorrow, 60% chance for rain. Windy and cold on Christmas Eve, near freezing on Christmas morning. After that, we'll see a warm up coming up over the weekend, back to 70 on Sunday. Another front rolls through, through, and then another system will actually move in with more rain and thunderstorms as we get into the middle part of next week.
All right, David, thanks. Well, coming up next, we're sharing some of our uplifting stories from this past year. But first, a look at what you can see tomorrow morning on Eyewitness News.
Instead of a gingerbread house, how about a charcuterie chalet? We talked to a Houston food blogger who shows us a new spin on this holiday tradition.
And shopping on the railroad tracks, it's a problem we help solve tomorrow morning here on 13.
No wait, weather and traffic tomorrow 6 to 10 a.m. on CW 39 Houston.
Well, no doubt about it, 2020 has been a year like no other. And while there has been a lot of loss and sorrow, there's also been a lot of good. Now, as we count down to 2021, we want to share some of our favorite stories from this past year. The silver linings of 2020. We're starting with two Cypress siblings on a big mission to make nurses feel as special as they are.
When I first got the note, honestly, it stopped me in my track.
Thank you for being a hero, praying for you, stay healthy, Victor, and graceful. My name is Victor Choa Eze, and I am 8.
My name is Grace Etoy, and I'm 5.
We're making thank you notes for all the nurses in Texas because they're risking their lives to save us because of the coronavirus.
One of the Saturdays, my daughter came and pulled me from downstairs, and she's like, "Mom, come and see all the thank you notes we've made," and the whole table was covered with thank you notes that they had written.
And make me feel happy.
The name of this project is the Happy Heroes Project. It's amazing in that in the midst of all the chaos and everything, the doom and gloom around us, it was really interesting to see the kids come up with a way to reach out to nurses.
Everybody's kind of having a hard time. So for some children to actually sit down and take out time and handwrite this note, it blew my mind.
My friend's mom is a nurse, and on her birthday, we thought it would be nice to make cards for her. We thought it would be nice to make some for her colleagues too.
It was like in the middle of a shift and we're all running crazy and busy. So as soon as we got a little bit of break, I went around and I said, "Hey, I have this notes from, this kids that I know, and they're just trying to part their love to us." And it was lots of oohs and ahs.
One of the nurses told me that you can see the excitement through our eyes, even though we are covered in masks.
They sent us some nice videos and pictures saying thank you, and we thought maybe every nurse should feel happy like she did. So our goal is to make enough cards for every nurse in Texas. It's been fun. We sang a song when we're working.
We're making some cards and picking them up all day long. We're making some cards and picking them up.
Having to see them take ownership of it, write thank you notes that they want to send out to the nurses, doctors, janitors, those on the front lines. The pride in them owning it and driving the whole thing, and we get to go deliver it and get these results, that's really impressive, and I'm really proud of them.
Every time I go to work and I go get my stuff to get ready, I grab it with me to kind of like, if I'm having a tough day, I just look at it and I smile. Like, there are kids somewhere that they're thinking about you, they're rooting for you guys. So it's just kind of like sunshine in your day that pops up every time you look at it.
Oh my goodness, how cute is that? Some great youngsters starting young there. Love that. Congrats to you two both. Now, people around the world stepped up to help each other in 2020, including Houston's own superstars, Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion. In another one of our favorite stories from this year, they shared the spotlight with the Bayou City Church here, going above and beyond to feed our city.
During this COVID-19 situation, we've gotten really some amazing support from a longtime family member, both Beyonce and Tina Knowles Lawson. Right now, we've just got the word recently that we've been awarded, this is a huge blessing, from Megan Thee Stallion, a Houston rapper, that just committed the proceeds from Savage the Remix to our Bread of Life Houston. When we got the call that Be Good would be supporting the work of the Bread of Life in St. John's, downtown Houston, we were elated. Now, I'm going to tell you, not surprised, though, because we would have been surprised if they had never helped before. But we were elated because every time we've needed help, we've been able to count on Tina and Beyonce. This church, St. John's, started in 1917. So when we got here in 92, immediately we discovered there was a demographic of homeless people just living around the building. Immediately we invited that group in. They became part of our congregation. We started serving one hot meal a week. And before we knew it, we were serving hot meals every day, 500 a day for 20 years. You know, our resources come from a number of places. One, the Houston Food Bank is one of our primary partners. They have been an amazing partner. And Beyonce, since the very beginning of her career, she has been an amazing supporter of this work, and so has her mom, Tina Knowles Lawson. In 1992, when we started industry here, the Knowles family were in our first probably 20 members, and they had two little girls, Solange and Beyonce, and they were both singers. They both sang in our choir on this very same platform. Every time we've needed help, we've been able to count on Tina and Beyonce. The key is, from day one, we have identified the persons at the epicenter of. But one thing for sure, we've been here 29 years. This is not our first disaster. This is the first disaster where we can't see it coming. And it's the first disaster that we don't know how long it's going to take to recover from it. But this ain't our first rodeo. There are some big tasks at hand. One thing we want to do in the weeks to come is to help identify the most vulnerable victims of COVID-19 and bring direct resources to those vulnerable individuals and their families. You know, before COVID-19, we were serving people hand to hand, face to face. And in that moment, you can experience the direct compassion. Now it's through a mask and through the gloves. But at the end of the day, what we've discovered is compassion can even translate through a mask and through gloves if the person on the other side cares. We're going to ride this all the way through and help as many people as we can.
And they certainly helped a lot of people in need right here in our community. We'll be right back with a final look at your winter. All right, David, final look at weather.
Yeah, we've got a front coming in. Why are you laughing? What's going on?
You don't see in this show and we're glad.
Yeah. We've got a cold front coming in tomorrow. First half of the day is going to be rather quiet, somewhat mild, cloudy with an isolated shower chance. Then as we get into the afternoon, we'll begin to see these scattered showers and thunderstorms develop. The biggest chance will be from Houston to the east and to the south. And then the front is going to move through during the latter parts of the afternoon and early evening hours. I think it'll be near the coast coming up at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Once that front moves through, we'll have a strong wind that will develop real strong, gusting to 20 and even 30 miles per hour in some parts of the area, and that's going to usher in some much colder air. So 66 degrees at 9 a.m., 71 at noon. Rain chance goes up to 60% in the afternoon as temperatures make it to the mid-70s. Then that front will pass through during the early evening hours, and that's when temperatures will fall back to 56 by 9. Here's your 3-day forecast. After all of that happens, look at Thursday, 38 to start, 52 for a high, 33 on Christmas morning with a high of 60. I think Santa's going to like the really cold weather we have coming in for Christmas morning, and I think most of us will enjoy it as well, Chauncy.
And David, come on, you got to get in the holiday spirit. You can laugh.
That's right. I'm with you.
Don't be a Grinch, especially when you know where you're laughing at, though.
That's right.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a great night, friends.